Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 39, and as you can see again, our name is starting to slip behind my head, and the relegation battle is very much on. We are 4 points off the bottom of the league. We played a side directly above us tonight as, potentially, in this rearranged game, it might have saved us yet again. And then we play MK Dons, who are right up in the top end of mid-table. But with us now 14 points off the playoffs and 3 points off the relegation zone, we know exactly where we're going to be this season. And for all the money we've spent, for all of the increases to the wage bill, for all the improved quality we feel we've got in the squad, we're in no different a position. If anything at this stage, it might be slightly worse. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, a massive 2 home games back to back in the next 3 days, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. We've got the head coach tomorrow, a very big episode to come in that one. I'd urge you to check it out. You might have a little inkling if you watched yesterday's one. And then this series will continue in 2 days' time. It is getting very tense. And we've got to try and survive. This is not what we perhaps expected after our summer work. There's also links in the eye above to the Cricket 22 playlist, the football podcast and the Twitch channel for regular live streams. But let's have a look at what's been going on here. A few players out, a few trialists in, none of them yet joined the club. But again, a postponed fixture may have saved us. It was the same thing that happened at the end of last season, which meant we got a rest and we were able to end our winless run. And the same thing happened here. Rather than playing every 3 days, we had a little break. Now, it has harmed us now with this Solihull game, because that is the game that was postponed. And now, up until the 10th of January for the 3rd round of the FA Cup, we play every 3 days, and in one case, 2 days. It is not good at all. But you can see where it may have changed round in terms of league form, and it was the Chesterfield game. We'll get to that in a second. You were with me a little bit further up than that, as we lost to Tranmere and Salford. And I'm going to have to level with you here. We were due to come back for the Chesterfield and Gillingham games, which were actually probably the 2 most entertaining off camera. But I'm recording this on the Saturday, and on the Friday night, I was playing this whilst watching Larne v Linfield, got lost in the world with both of them, and went flying past my recording point. So we're at the next important stage after. Let's have a look at what's been happening since you were here, though. And as you can see, what we talked about with Tranmere and Salford, don't let it turn into a big winless run, and that's exactly what happened. Yes, 4 of the 5 games following were draws, but again, this was the one that probably cost us at home to Scunthorpe. 91st minute equaliser after playing so well too, and it was another Ryan Boot classic at the back. For a keeper that's such an improvement, he's been shocking this year. But Ross Lang, one of the youngsters, looking pretty good. Javan Malcolm scored a penalty, and then we were pegged back right at the end. Against Wickham, Javan Malcolm scored a second half equaliser after Brian Ward had got an own goal. We lost at home to Cheltenham 1-0. Pretty average performance. A 1-1 draw at Kidderminster. Crucial late goal from Tristan Nydam in the second half. A 3-0 FA Cup win against Spennymoor. Grewell Pollard, Brook and Brian Ward for a pretty rotated side. A 2-1 win in the EFL Trophy against Brentford. Fernandez and Malcolm getting the goals there. A 0-0 draw at Crawley in the league. Pretty average performance, but Boot, to be fair to him, was very good in this game. And then we had the postponed game against Solihull, which meant we had a 10-day break. We were able to do training, we were able to do the team talks, we were able to focus a bit. And then we beat high-flying Chesterfield 3-2. And even that wasn't this easy. We went 2-0 up in the first half. Stevens and Malcolm got the goals. We got pegged back to 2-2. Armstrong came off the bench back from injury, scored almost immediately. And then we had to cling on right at the end. But it was a win. And at the moment, that's all that's keeping us out the relegation zone. We bounced back with another late defeat, this time against Gillingham. Nydam had scored an early goal, but the second in the 83rd minute, a stupid set piece too cost us. But back-to-back wins in cup competitions. Firstly, against Gillingham again, this time in the cup, Victor Sedende with a hat-trick. And then against Ebbsfleet, it was a Sedende penalty after Lewis Brunt had scored a bullet header. So we now come into a thick and fast run of games. We've got 7 league games in 18 days. How on earth are we supposed to compete with the quality of squad we've got? We are losing a few with injuries this year. Definitely got worse since we've turned pro. But Solihull is one of those that is a must-win. The problem is, after these 2, 4 of the next 5 are away. And that's where I consider us maybe slight underdogs, because our away record, absolutely awful. In fact, I still don't think we've won an away league game all season. We haven't. So that tells you how hard that's going to be. Of course, it's a crucial spell though. The first of them is against Oldham, who are bottom of the league at the minute. Sutton are right down there too. There are some big matches. We have got to the FA Cup third round, got a really good draw on paper against Northampton, the side we beat on the opening day of the league season. Boy, that performance seems a long time ago, doesn't it? And if we get through that, maybe we can get a big tie and big money to spend at the end of January. But I'm not going to get too excited just yet. Not with the way we're playing. We can't bank on winning any game. Let's go and get into the first one against Solihull. I will just quickly show you something I forgot last time. I'm trying to get a centre-half in at the moment, but Riley Harbottle, he was linked with moving out a couple of episodes ago, and he did eventually go. He went to Brackley on the 26th of October. I think Capecqua left during the episode. Harbottle went just after. So he's gone to Brackley Town. Not been brilliant for us, and he's not been brilliant for them in fairness, but a great servant, a decent player. But Lee too, the step up, he just struggled a little bit. I think that's fair to say. Let's go and get on with it though. The first game against Solihull, the only game of the night, and a big opportunity. We've just about got everyone fit. I'm gambling with playing the strongest team today, and then we'll rest a few at the weekend if we need to, because this game is the one we have to win against the sides around us. So we've gone as strong as possible. I'm having real trouble on the right wing. I've got to say, the days of Marsh Brown and Ibe are gone because Stevens has struggled. Armstrong struggled. We've tried, even Fernandez hasn't been great this year. We've tried supporting wingers, attacking wingers, a few different little roles, just hasn't worked. So Jordan Stevens is there for now. Now the worst player in the starting lineup on paper, after spending big money on him, this is why I don't do it. We'll try and get the value back for him in the January window, but I'm not sure he's going to be worth the same now. It's saying he might be. Ryan Boot is between the sticks. We've moved him up to that support duty as the sweeper keeper. McDonough and Garbutt, the fullbacks, with Brian Waugh and Marshall at centre-half. Marshall's been a bit weaker in recent games, but Brian Waugh really improving now, starting to look a very good pro. Egan, Nydam and Hazeman, the midfield three. Nydam, definitely the star player for us at the moment, and he is now the captain too after Harbottle left. And he's taken on the mantle in style. It's helped Ryan Boot too, it's got to be said. Stevens, Ross Lang, who's in great form, and Malcolm are the front three. And his quality on the bench if we need it. It's a big squad, but maybe not the best one. Let's see how we get on against Solihull. I get the feeling with all the away games coming up, we just have to win. Well, here we go. I'm having a look at this Solihull lineup. There's a few decent players in there. Jamie Patterson, Joe Sabara's still there, which is interesting. On the bench, not a huge amount of depth. Grimshaw we nearly signed in the summer, which shows how good they are compared to us. He was pretty much neck and neck with Boot. He's coming to be their backup keeper, at a side we're competing against for relegation from League 2. That's the difference in quality, probably the difference in structure. But let's go and get into the first half. No one reacts, but as I've mentioned before, I don't like to waste the individual chats in mid-season games. They're for the big ones. We're at Kenilworth Road, can't help being miles away from home. Let's see if we can just sneak a result from somewhere. Couple of set pieces, a bobble, an own goal. I don't really care, to be quite frank. As first attack is for Solihull, looking good on the ball with 15 gone. They're playing through the middle. They seem to have so many players committed forward. The fullbacks are high, the centre mids are high. They've just got the two men back. And maybe that's why we're struggling, because teams are just trying to overload us. Oh, when your best player does that, what can you do? Gareth McDonough misjudges a header, doesn't get near his man. And Jamie Patterson puts in, I don't know where Ryan Boot was, but that doesn't matter. It wasn't his fault. What on earth is Gareth McDonough doing there? And how after watching that has he still got a 6.8 rating? That's what I want to know. As Garbutt's on the front foot to Ross Lang. Flicked into Nydam, nowhere near him. Sabara can clear. Brian Waugh goes up to Garbutt. He finds Hazeman. And Ross Lang. Through ball to Nydam. Great run. Is he onside? That's the big question. He's done this so many times in recent weeks. But that one's offside. It's ruled out. And when it's not your day, not your day. Half an hour gone. We're going to berate the lads. And again, it's been one of the frustrations. We're not getting outplayed in any games. In a lot of them, we're having more chances, as we are here, and conceding the only shot against us. And when you put in such work to improve the defence, it's really frustrating when that keeps happening. And we've improved the attack and not scored more goals as well. That has to be said too. As Ross Lang gets down the left-hand side, in towards Malcolm. Good first touch. Forced wide. But I said it didn't matter if it was a bobble or an own goal. Well, an own goal it is. And on a stroke of half-time, we're back on level terms. Hemel 1, Solihull 1. We'll take it however it comes. Let's go and tell the lads that we want more. We want to encourage them. We want to keep going. Because to be fair to them, they've been brilliant. They just can't defend. And Gareth McDonough's got the best rating on the pitch. He very clearly made a mistake for that goal. I do not understand it for the life of me. He's now showing up as absolutely knackered, despite having 2 weeks off recently. What on earth do we do with him? We've not got the ability to change it. We have to keep putting Brian Waugh out to right back, and then bringing on another centre-half, which weakens the team. I think at this stage, Grow or Pollard is probably better than Rowe. He is. So we're going to make that change first. I'm going to leave the rest for now, but it won't be long. First change has been made. But look at the stats again. 15 shots, 4 on target. No goals scored of our own accord. Solihull score with their only chance. We're going to bring Ryan Joseph on for the very tired Ross Lang. And Hazeman will be replaced in a minute. Let's see what happens with this first. Ristic on the left-hand side. Back to Sagaf. Don't you dare let them have 2 shots on target and 2 goals. Can someone explain to me? Because this is the pattern of every game this season. The promise in play, I've even watched them. I talk about it. I watch the full matches sometimes. I look at the data hub in detail. I cannot work out where this is going wrong. And it's one of the few times that's been the case because we've been so good when we've been in possession. We've not conceded many good chances. We just keep making individual errors. And the players still get rated really well despite it, as it's into the back post. Joseph heads clear. We're not conceding bundles from set pieces. They're all carbon copy goals. They go out wide, they're crossed in. One of the defenders makes a silly mistake and then the rebound scored, or it falls to someone like it did today. With 5 to go, we're down to 10 men. I mean, what can you do? There are some points where you just have to admit your luck's not in. And I'm almost thinking now, look, is there any point in keep playing brilliantly every week and it going wrong? Should we just go back to the drawing board, make a completely different tactic where things are direct, ugly, defensive, and make sure we get results? We're going to have to put Nydam out to left back here, Egan into the middle. That means I'll have to drop Davey in as a deep line playmaker. And probably Joseph as a supporting winger. We'll drop to a balanced mentality and we'll try and counter them. But even in terms of the crosses, I try to drop the defensive line. I drop the wing backs to full backs and it hasn't worked. And in a game we have utterly dominated. We've snuck out with a 1-1 draw. Yes, it's better than a defeat. But we've picked up another injury. We've not looked like scoring. And we're wasting loads of chances. I don't really know what to do at this point. Because everything would suggest we're doing well. Back just 3 days later to find out who's fit. Luke Garber is not one of them. So there's the best set piece taker gone. Sedende's unhappy. We got a youth intake preview which is awful. Ochieng's moaning about the loan spell he asked for, which is even stranger. And we had a fitness concern for McDonough, so it's not looking particularly good heading into today's game. Let's see who's fit though. We're playing a good MK Don side. They are just floating outside the playoffs. And to be fair, they're not a million miles away from Luton, are they? So let's see in a fairly local game if we can get a result. If we have a look at the team, who is fit? Oh God. 3 of the back 4 not fit. I'm going to leave Brian Waugh in, but Kobe Rowe will come in at right centre-half. Grewell Pollard will start at left-back. And I think it will be fair to call it bare bones on the bench. We're going to have Jake Caprice and Matthew Carson. And ironically, the only one who had a fitness concern is the one who's fit. So I don't know how to explain that. Egan, Nydam and Hazeman are still fit. I can't solve the issue on the right. I've tried every duty I can think of, so I'm just going to leave it and get a better player eventually. The goals are starting to dry up for Malcolm, which is another issue. The bench is just about fit, I think. But even that's a bit weaker, isn't it? Armstrong back in for Fernandez. He's had a game off. And that's what it's going to have to be. So a couple of enforced changes. Rowe and Grewell Pollard into the defence. But apart from that, we're as strong as we can be. Is that the Tom Lawrence in the MK Dons team? I know he'll be early 30s now, but that's ridiculous. Boyd Muntz is a good player. Callum Doyle's not bad at centre-half. And look at some of those on the bench. Jeez. What are they doing in 10th place? That is a very good side MK Dons have got. We're going to say the pressure's all on them. You've got nothing to lose. Go out and cause an upset. Brandon Brian Moore's happy with that, but he's got no legs left, so that might be difficult. We will drop to a balanced mentality soon if we have to, but really I want to get on the front foot. It is the Tom Lawrence, and he's very good. Look at that. He's on £4,500 a week. That's more than a good 6 or 7 or 8 of these put together. It's ridiculous. As Egan picks it up to Nydam. 30 yards out, good effort. Dennis tips it away. Wallace clears. It stays 0-0, but it's a corner kick and we've got a chance from set pieces. It is the area where the goals have dried up in the recent weeks. Hazeman loses out in the air there. And it has been one of the deficits of bringing out Armstrong for Stevens. We've lost that extra aerial threat, that extra instinct in the air to try and score goals. But it doesn't make that much of a difference. Let's be honest, we're just in a slump again. And we're going to have to change tack for January. Instead of trying to make what we did last summer, we said, look, there's 6 or 7 areas where we're just not up to scratch as a League 2 side. Let's try and get incremental upgrades everywhere. We're not going to do that. We'll pause as Ross Lang's on the way forward. His cross is blocked. Back to the other double barrel player. We've got 3 of them in the team today. Up to Hazeman. Nydam can't quite get on the end of it. He's making those runs brilliantly though. And he is definitely the star of the team at the minute in terms of performance. Pritchard on the left. Forced back. We're seeing an awful lot of this game. Dennis can bring it away in goal. No pressure on him. Up to Solomon. And he can play downfield. Jeanvia gets it. Wide to Branch. Up to Lawrence. And he's the creative spark. Where's the defence gone? Pritchard's missed that. What was Rowe doing? He got caught upfield. He's gone in tight. I don't really understand that. That's not what we asked for. So a few concerns there. But this January, going back to the subject, I think we're just going to go for the best players. If we can find 3 or 4 massive upgrades, regardless of what position they're in, we'll do it. And that's going to be our policy. Any area we can get a massive improvement, we do. Half time, it is 0-0. It's been a poor game. But you've seen again, despite MK Dons creating nothing, they've had the one best chance of the match from a defensive error. And they've got a goal kick here early in the second half. Nydam heads away. Doesn't go far, but Brian Moore does well there. Finds Pollard on the left-hand side into Hazeman. Up to Malcolm. Into Nydam. Wide to Stevens. This is a good move. 4 in the box if he can find them. Gets to the byline. Delivers in. Well overhit. Ross Lang gets it on the left. He goes back to Pollard. Again forced backwards. We're ruining good chances here. It's all the way back into Egan and now Nydam. He shoots from distance though. Just wide of the post. That was a good effort. But again, what was a brilliant opportunity turned into a half chance. It's not good enough. It does have to be said, we've got 3 or 4 excellent players in this team. Young players as well. The likes of Egan. McDonough on loan, yes. Javan Malcolm. But I feel like a change of tact is needed. If wingers aren't working, do we look at a diamond? It's a tactic I like. It's a tactic I've seen Luton use a lot in real life. And it's a tactic we had success with Bangor City last year. Or do we find a way to make this work? Because with every other team in FM22, we've largely done quite well with a 3-man midfield. I'm going to take Ross Lang off for Joseph again, who's tired. I'm going to take Hazeman off, who's, again, flatter to the sea for his quality. He's going to be replaced by Davey. And then I think we leave it at that for now, because I don't want to risk making a third sub again and playing with 10 men. 25 to go, no shots on target for MK Dons. But what's to stop them nicking one late as Rowe plays out from the back? Had a really poor season this year, despite being brilliant when he came in last January. Chips it wide to Stevens. He gets down the line. Is he going to beat his man? Got to produce some magic occasionally. He was a 6-figure player. Egan gets it back to Brian Moore. Out wide to Growell Pollard. Down the line to Joseph. Some substitute magic would be much obliged at this point. Goes back to Pollard. It's behind him. The little 5-yard passes that aren't quite right. And it's just setting us back a step every time. Egan picks it up. Can we make it count this time? Davey. Stevens. Challenged easily. Very lightweight. Nearly went over the line there with the ball back to the keeper. But Dennis can clear downfield. Long ball towards Rowe, who's got time to bring it down. Plays away to Malcolm. In the air. Loses out. Stevens can't get there. And with 15 to go, I'm going to gamble. Malcolm's been poor for a number of games. Let's go Victor Sedende. He scored a hat-trick in one of the cups. He scored a goal in the FA Cup. He's been the hero whenever we've needed him in this save. Let him do it again. Joseph, back to Egan. Again, we've played really good stuff. We've been the better side against a very good team. But we cannot make our chances count. And most of the time we can't defend as Growell Pollard plays Joseph. If ever there's a time to nick a 1-0, it's here. Pollard over the top. Joseph's in. It's a 3-on-3. Oh, he's put it across. We've got an advanced forward, an attacking winger, and a centre midfielder on attack. And none of them attacked it. You won't get a better cross than that. Out to Stevens on the right. He goes back to McDonough, playing safe again, and the ball through's useless. McDonough puts it in again. No, missed header. Joseph's missed. How on earth has he not put that in the back of the net? One unbelievable cross, and that Joseph one, let's not beat around the bush. That's a sitter. And it's going to cost us 2 more points. Look at the stats again. We are playing really good football against very good sides. But we cannot score goals at the minute. We go through spells where we can't defend for 4 or 5 games, and then 4 or 5 where we can't score. And we never have that perfect medium for more than 1 or 2 games. In the grand scheme of things, these are 2 very good performances and 2 decent points. But now we're 4 games out of 5 away from home where we haven't won all season. And the gap to the relegation zone only 5 points. We're playing both of the bottom 2 on the road in those 4 fixtures. What do we expect? Because I don't expect much success. It's not a disaster, it's a little unbeaten run, but it's not good enough really. We get 30 grand from the book still, that might give us a little money in January. Again, fitness concerns for McDonough. And we're playing every 3 days, so we're going away to bottom side Oldham on Tuesday. We're probably going to have to rest half the team. It really isn't a good state of affairs at the minute. January is going to be my biggest challenge. And I think we've just got to throw ourselves at it now. We've got to go big. Ignore what I think, ignore my preconceptions, ignore the fact we got the Stevens one wrong in the summer. Go big, get massive improvements, and make this window count. Try and get a star loan player like McDonough again. If we have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back, I was sort of planning towards the end of January because I'm hoping we might have an FA Cup 4th round tie. If not, it'll be 2 of the big league games. And it'll either be 2 sides near the bottom or 2 near the top, depending on what position we're in. And maybe even a transfer deadline day. We'll see how it all works out. Let me know in the comments if you've got any suggestions as to what we can do to mean we've got a good defence and a good attack at the same time. I mean, look now. We've conceded only 1 goal in our last 4 games. But now we're not scoring. Whereas the month before that, we were conceding 2 or 3 virtually every time. If you go back to October, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. But then we were still scoring a goal in most games, 2 in a couple. It really is so hard to understand. Is it just a very young, inconsistent team? But we've got bits of experience dotted around, and at the moment, they're not hugely helping us. If you want to stay up to date, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Going to be a very frustrating festive period on the channel in this save, but an interesting one in the head coach. You don't want to miss tomorrow's episode. It'll be out at 3:30 as normal. This one back in 2 days' time. While you're waiting for all of that, you can find Cricket 22 content up in the eye above, the festive special from the football podcast. Don't worry, there's no Christmas stuff in there. And the Twitch channel for regular live streams. Again, if you go over to the community page or any of my social media pages, you can see the festive schedule from Twitch. Massive thank you for watching though, and your continued support as always. I'm going to need the 12th man again this season, because survival is not looking certain by any means. When we come back next time, we could be in crisis mode. I'll see you there to find out if we are.